hidden in the ancient plains of Turkey lies a structure older than the pyramids of Egypt and Stonehenge.
Our ancestors traveled the world and built enormous structures. They scaled their creations into cities.
It's a site that dates back a staggering 12,000 years to the Neolithic period.
Which had been erected by Stone Age people so long ago and which is still existent now here.
This is the oldest temple unearthed anywhere on this planet.
More than 12,000 years ago, in the land that is now Turkey, humans built a structure that turned all the laws of evolution upside down. The giant stone pillars engraved with animal symbols, celestial figures, and abstract symbols existed as a language that had never been understood. For decades, archaeologists could only guess because all explanations fell into a deadlock. Until a quantum artificial intelligence system was used to analyze the entire stone surface, it began to speak. See what AI has just discovered that has caused scientists to change the way they look at human history. Göbekli Tepe, located on an arid hill in southeastern Turkey, is the oldest known site of a complete temple structure. Carbon dating suggests it was built between 9,600 and 8,200 BC, predating any known civilization. The 7,000-plus year gap between Stonehenge and the Great Pyramid of Giza places Göbekli Tepe outside any conventional evolutionary framework. The fact that Stone Age hunter-gatherers were able to create such a massive, precise, ritualistic structure changes the entire understanding of the formative period of human civilization. The site consists of many large stone circles, each measuring 10 to 30 meters in diameter, surrounding T-shaped pillars over 5 meters high and weighing up to 20 tons. These stones are arranged symmetrically with smooth surfaces, demonstrating a carefully calculated construction technique. There are no traces of houses, farming tools, or daily activities, suggesting that this place only served ceremonial or astronomical purposes. The pillars are filled with animal figures such as scorpions, vultures, foxes, snakes, wild boars, and a host of abstract symbols. The carvings are sharp, the proportions are consistent, and the composition is systematic. They are not decorative, but rather convey ideas, a form of visual language in the pre-literate era. The vulture pillar, also known as Pillar 43, is the most prominent element. The winged vulture above the headless figure, along with sun, moon, and pouch symbols, forms a complex symbolic composition. The three curved-handled pouches are a recurring motif in many other civilizations, including Sumerian, Assyrian, and Maya, suggesting the existence of a knowledge system that was passed down through the ages. The stone carvings in the deeper layers show a higher level of skill than the upper layers, where the lines become rougher. This reflects a decline in skill over time, as opposed to a progressive development of civilization. Göbekli Tepe does not mark a beginning, but rather a remnant of an earlier period of development. Around 8000 BC, the entire temple complex was deliberately buried under tons of earth and rock. The filling was coordinated, suggesting it was not a natural act. The structure's excellent preservation suggests it was hidden rather than destroyed. From here, Göbekli Tepe enters a new phase of decipherment, opening up layers of meaning beyond traditional archaeology. Analysis with quantum AI, quantum artificial intelligence, scanned the entire surface of Göbekli Tepe's pillars and processed data at microscopic resolution. The system recognized complex patterns and found correlations that manual observation could not detect. Quantum computing enabled millions of engraving data points to be analyzed, mapping distance, depth, and direction. Each detail was integrated into a 3D model to precisely reconstruct the position, scale, and orientation of every symbol within the entire site. The system cross-referenced all findings with ancient semiotics and astronomical databases. As data processing advanced, it detected repeating sequences of engravings arranged with mathematical precision, forming a coherent visual language rather than decorative art. A symbolic sequence featuring the scorpion, The vulture, the sun disk, and the headless man appeared in a consistent order. The pattern was identified as narrative representing the cycle of death, ascension, and rebirth. The scorpion symbolized death and conclusion, the vulture, the soul's departure, the sun disk, divine energy, and the headless man's transformation into another state of existence. Together, they created a proto-language describing the soul's journey beyond life. Analysis revealed that the pillars aligned with constellations visible around 12,000 years ago. The scorpion carvings matched Scorpius, while the vultures corresponded to Sagittarius. The alignment implied the builders possessed advanced astronomical knowledge. The arrangement of pillars mirrored celestial geometry and recorded stellar positions over centuries. The structure was designed to track precession, the slow movement of Earth's axis, causing the constellations to drift over a 25, 9, and 20-year cycle. Distances between pillars matched mathematical ratios associated with Earth's orbit, reflecting comprehension of cosmic laws only rediscovered by modern science. Göbekli Tepe thus functioned as an encoded astronomical record, combining art geometry and observation. Many pillars faced the spring equinox sunrise, marking the renewal point of the ancient calendar. The configuration allowed precise measurement of the year, the seasons, and the constellations' movement, turning the site into a giant stone chronometer. Repeated circular engravings and golden ratio curves indicated mastery of geometry. These forms mirrored orbital harmonics, showing the builders linked architecture to celestial motion. Within geometric data appeared ratios corresponding to constants such as quantum oscillation and electromagnetic wave periods. The findings led to the idea that the creators possessed knowledge uniting macrocosmic and microcosmic principles, connecting atomic vibrations with the rhythm of the heavens. Göbekli Tepe may represent one of the earliest expressions of unified physical understanding. Comparative studies revealed correlations between Göbekli Tepe's motifs and those in Egypt, Sumer, and Mesoamerica. The similarities suggested the transmission of a shared symbolic system, a possible remnant of a global prehistoric knowledge network. Patterns related to Venus and Mars showed synchronization with their orbital cycles. The spacing of certain pillars matched Venus's 8-year synodic period, implying intentional encoding of planetary motion within the temple's layout. The designers appeared to merge scientific precision with ritual meaning. Each carving served both as sacred imagery and as coded astronomical data, preserving measurements of time and predicting celestial phenomena. The entire site acted as a repository of cosmic memory. Builders inscribed information about stellar cycles, climate fluctuations, and natural events into stone, transmitting scientific and spiritual concepts through symbols instead of written language. Computer simulations confirmed that several symbol sequences aligned with data from the Younger Dryas climate shift around 900 years ago. This alignment suggested the engravings recorded not only mythic themes, but also a historical account of global transformation. The symbolic cycle of death and rebirth reflected not only human experience, but also planetary regeneration. Destruction signified environmental collapse, and rebirth symbolized renewal after catastrophe. The decoding opened a new phase of investigation into cosmic cycles, and the preservation of encoded warnings carved in stone, redefining Göbekli Tepe as a message about time survival and the continuity of knowledge. Quantum time warning. Quantum systems analyze the structure of Göbekli Tepe at the three-dimensional level and find that the entire temple complex is arranged in a fixed cycle related to the rotation of the Earth. The rings represent each phase of the 920-year precession cycle. The precession cycle is a phenomenon in which the Earth's axis slowly rotates around its center point, causing the positions of the constellations to shift over time. Each rotation, equivalent to nearly 26 millennia, is considered a cosmic clock that records the planet's movements. Göbekli Tepe reflects this law with precise geometry and proportions. The spacing between the pillars corresponds to specific segments of the cycle, with each group representing a period of climate change. The carvings depict animals becoming extinct or disappearing from their habitats, demonstrating that ancient peoples observed natural changes over millennia. Simulation data suggests that Pillar 43 coincides with the Younger Dryas event, a period of abrupt global cooling around 12,900 years ago. Symbols such as scorpions and vultures reflect destruction, while the headless humanoid represents the end of a cycle of civilization. The repeating circles on the pillars may represent the sun's activity cycle. Each ring represents a phase of solar variability, which directly affects Earth's climate. The number of rings coincides with the 11-year sunspot cycle, suggesting a remarkable level of astronomical understanding. When measuring the ratios between the height distance and orientation of the pillars, the results showed numbers that coincided with physical constants, such as the speed of light, the Planck ratio, and quantum oscillations. This shows that the ancients grasped the correlation between the scale of the universe and its microscopic structure. This phenomenon is known as the mirror principle, where large celestial oscillations have the same rhythm as small particle oscillations. Göbekli Tepe expresses this principle through its composition and carvings, reflecting the idea of as above as below, an early understanding of the unity of nature. Analysis of the light and acoustics shows that when the sun shines through the pillars at certain times, the temple creates interference patterns of light corresponding to quantum frequencies. This proves that the ancients understood the connection between light, sound, and geometry. Some structural values reveal correlations between quantum oscillations and precession cycles, suggesting that ancient builders understood resonance between cosmic motion and physical vibration. Researchers view this as early evidence of unified knowledge where astronomy and physics intertwine. Measurements of engraving depth show repeating frequencies resembling an organized energy pattern. Variations in depth and intensity form a mathematical rhythm functioning as an early frequency-based code carved into stone. The oldest pillars display sharper, more balanced carvings, while later layers lose precision. This decline in craftsmanship implies Göbekli Tepe was not the dawn of civilization, but the remnant of a fading intelligence, a final effort to preserve vanishing knowledge. Samples of the surrounding soil suggest the burial was intentional. The cover consists of several layers of sediment placed evenly and with careful selection of materials, suggesting a planned action. The filling was intended to protect the temple from erosion and impending climate disaster. The soil contains traces of ash and acid rain, which coincide with atmospheric evidence of global upheaval at the end of the Ice Age. The act of burial is therefore seen as an emergency measure of knowledge preservation, a way of sealing the memory of humanity. The decoding results show that the construction and burial were two phases of the same plan. The first phase stored knowledge, the second phase protected it for the future. The entire structure acted as a stone memory device, transmitting information about the planet's life cycle. A series of symbols in the system corresponds to a time calculation showing that the end point of the current cycle coincides with the present day. The message seems to be directed to the current generation, those who are standing on the threshold of the cosmic cycle repeating itself. The scorpion and sun-shaped pillars are placed at the turn of the season's position, symbolizing the transition of eras. Their layout represents the law of destruction and regeneration, reflecting the awareness of the cycle of nature. The Göbekli Tepe structure is therefore seen as an ancient warning clock recording the energy phases of the Earth. When the celestial bodies return to their original positions, a new cycle begins, bringing with it climatic and geological fluctuations. The interval between the two markers is about 13,000 years, half a precession cycle. This evidence takes the work beyond the limits of archaeology, placing it at the intersection of cosmology and human history. The carvings become fossil records of energy, recording the Earth's cycles in stone language. Further discoveries focused on the act of hiding the structure and the existential significance of the message left behind. Consequences of survival. Chemical analysis of the soil layer shows traces of sand, gravel, and volcanic ash mixed together, transported from elsewhere. The high degree of homogeneity rules out the possibility of natural sandstorms. This confirms that the burial was a large-scale conservation effort, systematically carried out by people who understood the value of the site. The AI determined that the burial occurred around 8000 BC, several thousand years after the structure was built. This would have occurred during a period of intense climate change when signs of natural disasters were occurring more frequently. The ancients could have seen that the cycle of change was about to repeat itself. Gobekli Tepe is considered a time capsule of ancient civilization. The burial of the structure ensured that the knowledge engraved in stone would not be lost even if the Earth's surface changed. They did not hide it to forget, but to preserve it for future generations who could read the message. AI shows that the burial process did not destroy the structure. The pillars remained straight, the carvings remained intact. The careful backfilling protected the structure from erosion, acid rain, and natural decay. Each layer of soil acted as an insulating layer, retaining almost all of the carvings after thousands of years. Among the reconstructed carvings, 3 recurring bags are considered central elements. The AI determined their proportions and positions relative to 3 time axes: past, present, and future. Each bag represents the knowledge needed to restart civilization after the disaster. When comparing the shape of the handbag at Gobekli Tepe with similar symbols in Sumer and Maya, the recognition system found a near-perfect similarity. Civilizations separated by tens of thousands of kilometers and thousands of years still retained the same symbol, suggesting that the origin of knowledge may have come from the same source. The symbol of the handbag is therefore not just a physical container, but a symbol of mobile knowledge. It is the ancient way of encoding the concept of the ability to carry knowledge through the upheavals. It symbolizes what humans need to retain after each cycle of destruction, the memory of how to rebuild the world. The headless figures appearing next to the handbag are interpreted as a transfer of power. The headless figure symbolizes the sacrifice of the older generation to preserve knowledge for the new generation. The entire composition becomes an image of the inheritance of knowledge through the ages. AI also found that these symbols are directly related to the astronomical system identified in the previous section. The way they are arranged according to the axis of the rising sun represents the idea of a new beginning when the first light shines on the temple area, which is also the moment when a new cycle begins. This supports the theory that the burial of Gobekli Tepe was not the end, but the beginning of the process of preserving memory. The ancients knew that knowledge could be forgotten if not properly protected, so they chose to seal it in stone, in carvings, and in the earth itself. Deep AI analysis of the soil layers revealed unusual temperature changes during the burial period, coinciding with major climate changes. This reinforces the idea that the burial took place in a chaotic but organized manner with a clear purpose to preserve a message of survival. According to the data compiled, the burial was carried out simultaneously over a large area. The outer areas were built higher to protect against water and wind, while the central area was filled in more slowly and evenly. This difference reflects the intention to prioritize the protection of the pillars with the main symbols. AI reconstructions of the burial sequence show the structure was covered from the outside in, as if the ancients were locking up a treasure. The entire process ended with a thick layer of earth surrounding the central pillar, which is believed to be the location of the most important message. Some researchers based on AI data believe that Gobekli Tepe is a testament in stone to people in the future. The cycles of destruction, climate fluctuations, and quantum symbols are recorded to warn of the recurrence of natural laws. The message is not just a religious or mythological meaning, but a scientific record in symbols. It shows a profound awareness that civilization, no matter how developed, cannot escape the cycle of the universe. Knowledge is the only factor that can overcome that loop. The AI concludes that the message from Göbekli Tepe is directly related to the present time. The precession cycle is approaching its end, coinciding with the current signs of climate change, ice melt, and environmental disruption. The data on the stone is therefore seen as an ancient warning to humanity. The key is not to predict disaster, but to be aware of cycles. When humans forget the pattern of repetition, they become victims of their own forgetting. Göbekli Tepe was built to prevent this as a reminder of a collective memory that transcends time. In that view, Göbekli Tepe becomes a symbol of humanity's will to preserve knowledge. It is not just an archaeological site, but a stone archive recording the combination of astronomy, mathematics, and philosophical awareness of a lost civilization. Quantum AI exploration has transformed Göbekli Tepe from an ancient ruin into a message from time immemorial. Stones silent for 12,000 years now speak, revealing knowledge cycles and warnings about the limits of our own civilization. If things were ever to repeat themselves, that message could be for us today. Join us on this journey to uncover the mysteries of humanity. Subscribe, like, and share so you don't miss out on discoveries that could change the way we look at the past and the future.